Hey, welcome back to the channel where we are working to unvoice grief and bring it out from the shadows. Today, I want to talk about resilience, which is a word that had bothered me for so long, especially in the very, very early days of my grief and even the grief before my wife died. So the grief of having a terminal diagnosis, knowing that I was going to lose her, and all of those things. People would always say like, oh, you're so resilient. I couldn't do it. I can't do what you're doing. I would never be able to make it through. Like they would say that to my wife and I. They would say that to me after she died. And it always bothered me for a few reasons. One, I didn't feel fucking resilient because I was struggling every day. I still struggle, but every day it's just this intense, heavy emotions that you're trying to work through every day. And you're trying to rebuild your life and figure out who you are. And there's nothing that feels resilient about that, because if I could, I just wanted to crawl into a hole and die. I just wanted to go away. I wanted the pain to go away. I wanted everything to just go away so I can just breathe for a second, because it was so overwhelming. And when people would tell me like, oh, you're so resilient, I can never do that, it almost felt like a slap in the face, because it's like, I'm not, because I'm barely surviving. It took somebody to reframe resilience for me into showing up every day. That could mean showing up literally by waking up and taking a shower. It could be waking up, getting food on the table for your kids. It could be every tiny little thing that feels so heavy and so hard to do, especially in those early stages of grief. And that is resilience. If we look at the root word of it, the word actually means to bounce back or to spring back. And that really kind of put into perspective for me this whole idea of resilience, where you're bouncing back. And I think we have this idea, or at least I had this idea in my mind, that resilience meant that I'm going to bounce back to who I was, the life I had, and that I was going to be this person that I was before Ariana died. And that wasn't happening. That can't even happen, because I'm not her. I'm not that person. I'm not who I was before Ariana died. So there's no way for me to bounce back to that. And it often feels like we need to have these huge leap forward to prove that we're resilient. And it's not that at all. It's the tiny little things that we do every day that we're bouncing back. And sometimes that bounce back, sometimes that spring back is not into the full person that we want to be, or that we used to be, or that we're striving to be. It can mean just taking one step forward. And as I started to internalize this idea of resilience, it kind of allowed me to calm down, because I really started to get angry when people would tell me these things. Not only that, but it's like, I don't have a choice to keep going. I didn't ask for my wife to die. I didn't ask for life to be what it is. And to tell me that like you couldn't do it, it makes me feel like I had a choice in the matter, and I don't. I didn't fucking want this. And if it happened to you, you wouldn't want it either, and you would have no choice but to keep going. So it's trying to like put this decision on people who are experiencing grief as like, you're making this choice to have this life, and that's amazing that you're working through it. I wouldn't trade this for anything. I would not want to lose Ariana and to go through everything that I have again. If I could have her back, if I could go back to that life, so many of us would want that. So it almost cheapens our grief into this state of choice. And that's where I think the real definition of resilience became very powerful for me. I wake up and I look at my life and I figure out, where have I bounced back? What has sprung back? And watching it over multiple time horizons. Well, maybe yesterday I couldn't get off the couch, but today I did, and I cleaned the kitchen. And maybe tomorrow I'll get up, clean the kitchen and shower, and cook dinner. Maybe the night before I ordered dinner, and then I cooked dinner the next day. All of these things begin to accumulate. And as you allow yourself to sit in your grief, and just be with it and allow your body to experience it and to move forward with it, day over day, week over week, month over month, you begin to look back and you can then see that quote unquote resilience that people see in you. But it takes a concerted effort to experience your grief and to find the ways in which you can bounce back and move forward. For me, it created so much anger when people would say these things to me. And it took a while not only to recognize what resilience is and to see it in myself, but to finally let go of that anger and to just let it be what it needs to be. So if you find yourself angry in the ways that I was angry, just know that truly resilience is just showing up every day in the best way that you can. And it does not mean being who you once were or getting to the finish line of who you want to be. It just means fucking showing up. That's my experience with resilience, the things I've learned, and the things that I struggled with. I appreciate you being here. I appreciate you listening. I hope it was helpful. Until next time.